All right, g'day. Bleh. Take two. G'day, hi, and welcome. Mark Holcomb, Railcam. Okay, discussion. The discussion. How to practice your bass. I'm gonna leave it unplugged because what's more annoying? There's nothing more annoying than bass players, anyway. So, because you're sitting there talking to them, like, shut up! I'm trying to talk. Right? Okay. So anyway, yeah. So uh, you're going to practice your bass, right? So I'm a guitar player, and I'm basically really putting a lot of time on the bass. One thing that the bass has done for me, especially as a metal guy. I mean, I'm not death metal kind of sort of yet, but I'm trying to move in from the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s era classic metal, progressive metal, think like Iron Maiden, think like your old Judas Priest, Metallica, stuff like that. And nothing wrong with these bands. But these to me are older metal bands. Black Sabbath, the grandfather of metal. Some people might argue it's Led Zeppelin, but I think it's Black Sabbath. You know what I mean? Uh, That's metal, man. That's metal. But that's very pentatonic, very grassroots metal, right? So I'm trying to move into like symphonic metal, hence the 5 string. So I'm trying to get into the really, like chords and stuff like that. So give you an idea of just a little lick from. I'll play this lick from a song I call "The Peasant," and it's just near the tail end of the song. And at first, I was doing it with the uh, fingers, and then I'm going to re-record a couple of versions of it with picks and stuff like that. And then I'm going to show you why you would practice different things and stuff like that. So the final kind of verse is kind of like Well, I'll just go through it. So that's kind of like version 1, right? So you can see the whole techniques that I'm using there. I got chords in there. Using my thumb. Got a bit of a slap in there. Got my fingers. Not the most complicated lines, and no, I know that's not sounding like symphonic metal, but when you hear it in the mix, you'll see what I mean, that it sounds way more progressive than the classic metal. Trying to moving more forward into 7 string and 8 string guitars like I have. Extended range and stuff like that, and really get. I no longer say heavy guitars. That's one thing a bass has just taught me, is that there's no such thing as a heavy guitar. There's a heavy bass and guitar. That's the best song right now. It's a song from a band called Illumashade. At the making of this video, it's called Hymn, Hymn, like see him, and the bass and the guitar at the end. Just listen to that riff. It's gonna make you giddy. It's like, and listen to it, headphones on, full screen, lights out, as loud as you can stand it, and that riff with the bass and the extended range 7 string guitar. Just listen to that. That is just absolutely killer sound, right? So that's the kind of sound I'm going for. But there's techniques that are different to get that. So now I'm going to use a jazz pick like I was showing in the previous video. So just watch how the dynamics change from going from fingers to that. So you can hear there's a lot of string muting, number one, that has to be done when you're going through those transition of those little chords, right? But you can also hear the difference in the dynamics and everything from fingers to that. So some of it, you know, when you got that little pop, that, you know, like that's, you might want to do that, but then if you got to give up your pick, it's not the same. But then this part sounds really good with the pick, doesn't it? Right? The fingers. So again, you get more attack on the fingers on that part. You get, you know, a slight different there, and then you get. So how do you practice, right? So, well, you practice if you're going to 99% of the time be using your fingers. Practice 90% of the time with your fingers. If you're never, ever, ever, ever going to use a pick, it's a nice skill to have. But if you're not going to use it, practice it a little bit, even if you're not going to use it. You know. So this is how the song would be starting. You get the idea. So go to the pick. Different type pick. Right? So you can see that each one is going to give you something different. So practicing to get them as fluid as possible, you have to put in a certain amount of time. Now you'd say, well, the pick's the easy one. Well, the pick is not the easy one because when you're doing stuff like this, again, a little tune I'm working on right now. Okay, that's fine for that little bit. Do that for 5 minutes. You know, then play the rest of the 3-hour show, right? Good luck. Totally different. A lot harder. Right? But both are going to burn you out. Like, that's pretty intensive, you know? Like, another little riff just to give you an idea. Play that for 5 minutes. Like, that's going to kill you, right? So just go to the pick. Play that for 5 minutes. It's going to kill you. So what's the point here? The endurance is not inherent in any one style. Practice, practice, practice. Right? So what do you practice? Practice what you're going to do. The way I'm doing it is trying to, then of course you got that, all that slap stuff, right? Which I'm not good at yet at all. But I could bash on it, right? But that. How is it? However it goes, anyway. But all that, the slap, you can't get good at it unless you practice it. That little lick that I got. If you're going to tap, you got to practice tapping. So we got fingers, slapping. Okay, we got thumb. We got picks. You know what I mean? So you got all those different things. So that's a lot of different techniques right there, just of stuff to learn. So when you're practicing, do you need to practice 3 hours, 10 hours a day? No. 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day for most people is probably going to make you a very good musician in a very short amount of time if it's active learning. So meaning the same approach I take for the guitar is the same thing I take for the bass. Find a bunch of skills that I can't do and work on them. So in a 5 minute period, maybe you can work on, this is one great thing about writing songs is incorporate, let's say you play one song that's 5 minutes long, but it has 5 or 6 different techniques in it. That's a great way to practice. And then the techniques that you're the worst at, maybe take that other 10 minutes and break it up into 4 or 5 different sections. And maybe one day you work on just this, the next day you work on that, whatever.